Hello, everyone. Oh, Jesus, wake up, people. Hello. Hi. What's up? How many of you are startuppers? Can you make it higher? All right, but let's put this down. I always do this. So how many of you are going to start a startup in the next 3 months? So in general, we have, less than half of audience. So what the hell are you rest of the people doing here? Why are you not at work? It's, still not 5 p.m., so you're all lazy and slacking off? Yes, I think, see some people nodding, right? At least you're honest. Okay, students who want to start a startup but want to finish their studies first, or whatever. All right, and I guess rest are just Swedbank employees skipping work. Why I always start to this is, firstly, to figure out who I'm talking to. So half of the people here I know personally, and I don't know what the hell are you doing here, seriously. I didn't want to come here. I think everyone knows and is bored of my story and me already. Like, Remant actually kindly told me, like, why? But why are you here and spending your time? So from my experience, purely on entertainment purposes and just wasting your time. So because there's so much information on these topics, every one of you can go to Google and simply type in how to start a startup, and you will end up in the best, maybe one of the best, if not the best, resources in the world on startups by Y Combinator and by Sam Altman from Y Combinator. And here you have people like Paul Graham, Peter Thiel, guys like that. You have their speeches on how to start a startup, how to fundraise. So why you would be coming here and listening to me? That's really a hard question for me. Especially after the topic, after all the things that Alan said, we basically covered the topic. So maybe some of you actually have legit questions and came here to find answers. Any questions straight away about fundraising from angels or seed round?
I mean, yeah, you can start earlier. I mean, looks like EDMUNDAS is not in the mood today. But,
no questions. Okay,
like, why 2 funds? Why not Practica? Why you were not happy with them?
All right, so then I'll get back to the boring story, and we can do it again. So I'm from TrackDeck. I'm CEO and co-founder of TrackDeck. We, with TrackDeck, raised some money from a startup accelerator in Finland initially called Startup Sauna. We got 10,000 euros in convertible debt. We have gotten a bridge loan from a Finnish government agency, which is partly financed by you. And then we raised our seed round. And previously, I also have gotten basically a grant from the Lithuanian government to go to Silicon Valley. So we have tried, I have tried raising funding from more or less all the sources, including my family. So friends and fools, as you call them. Then grants and government institutions, which you should just skip, let's put it like that. And then angels and seed funds. So let's say that you already have a product. And you must have a product in these days to fundraise. I mean, not having a product is just being naive in the best case scenario. Otherwise, you're plain stupid and you don't know what you're doing. So you should find a team and you should build a product. That's the only way to show your credibility. Because, like as Alan said, you're in the middle of nowhere. No one really knows who you are. To prove that you're serious about what you're doing, you should probably get some money from your family just to, and put in some of your money just to show that you have skin in the game. You should build the product, the initial product. You should generate some initial traction for sure. That meaning you have actual users using your product at least for free. Maybe they're not paying you, but at least they're not saying, fuck off, we don't need the shit. So that's quite important. Once you have that, it's really about just doing the work. You have to dedicate yourself. That basically it's going to be full-time work for at least 2 or 3 months of fundraising for one person. If it's a few of you, maybe you can do it part-time, but it's simply work that you have to do, and it's hard work. It's basically doing sales and selling your company idea to investors. And here, also, you cannot be too salesy. You have to be a human being. So know how to present yourself, know how to present your company, know how to connect with other people, and always follow up, stay in touch, become friends, and after a while you realize, oh, I have 300 investors in my network through LinkedIn, Facebook, emails, and so on, and now sometimes they're asking if what's the situation of my company, if I'm raising more funding, or if I can even maybe refer some of my friends or startups to them, and so on. So that's it. That's kind of straightforward. Build the product. Build it by getting feedback from customers all the time. Have a legit team who can ship a product, who can sell the product, who are experts in their field, and then you have to become a salesman, but with a human touch to it by having the passion, connecting with people, and simply do the sales and follow up with people, and you're going to get the funding. Seriously, that's it. There's no mystery behind it. It's just these 3 things and working on it. Whatever other people saying is basically repeating these things in different order or putting different words into it. So, any questions about this?
Well, how many times have you been rejected by a venture capital company before finally Practica or whatever, Kima came across? Or?
So here we get to the next stage. So you actually start doing the work instead of going to conferences without any specific goals and meaning in it. And you actually build the product, gather a team, work on product, make it better, get some customers and users, and you start fundraising. And by fundraising, you actually prepare a 1-minute pitch, a 30-second pitch, a 3-minute pitch. You actually have a good presentation. You have good online presence that people can easily find you. So you're on Twitter, blog, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever, because once people hear about your company, they're going to Google your company, they're going to Google your name. So you do all of this work. You have to, again, you have to know your domain. You have to know your industry, and you have to set the goal. So why I'm fundraising? You have to answer all the questions that Elon raised. Do you really need fundraising? For what do you need fundraising? And who would be the optimal investors in your company? Once you do this due diligence and you prepare for it and you start going out, you should at least get 2 or 3 serious offers. If possible, at least 2 or 3 term sheets, so you could get a good deal. Because if you're basically starving and you only have 1 offer from whatever, the only or one of the 2 funds in Lithuania, they don't really have an incentive to give you a good offer, because there is no competition and you haven't done your work before. So there is why would they give you a better deal if they don't have to? And you didn't do your work before to get this good deal. So you should get at least 2 or 3 deals. Now, I've done a lot of mistakes, and I have not followed up with some people that I needed, and so on. So what would I do differently? But I had 3 offers from different funds, and once we got an offer from Kima Ventures during a conference, I actually had the choice between Practica Capital and a Finnish fund who was also willing to invest in us together with Kima. And there were some other options also. So you always have to have options, otherwise you're not going to get a good deal. What other thing I wanted to say? Oh, yes. Everyone in Lithuania is like, oh, the VC market in Lithuania is so crappy and blah, blah, blah. and there's no investors. There can't be any investors. We're 3 million people. There's like 100 startups in Lithuania. What kind of market, what kind of sane VC fund would only do Lithuania? They only would do Lithuania for the first year, and of course they would be looking to expand from Lithuania as soon as possible, because simply not enough startups. So you should be thinking exactly the same way. Like in Lithuania, there is no way you can firstly get a good deal just from Lithuania, and there's not enough big of a market. So tickets, airplane tickets to London, you can get it for what, 30 euros by Ryanair? How many people take it just to go there? 30, you need 30 euros forward back for Ryanair. You need maybe a couple hundred euros more. You end up in London, you go to some conferences, you meet hundreds of investors. That's it. And then people have the face and the courage to complain to me about VCs in Lithuania. I just sometimes want to smack someone. Because, I mean, it's just ridiculous. Even if you don't travel from Lithuania, if you just stick to Lithuania, if you actually put in any decent amount of work, just staying in Lithuania in the past year, you would have met at least 100 investors of different levels, of different funds and VCs. And I'm 100% sure about it. And all you need to do to check it, just go to Silicon Valley Comes to Baltics website, check who came there, go to login, check who came there, check out all the Startup Lithuania, Enterprise Lithuania events and who came there, check out hub camps, and so on, so on, so on. And next week, we have an event where more VC funds who haven't been to Lithuania are coming to Lithuania. It's going to happen in, actually, I can open up just for people to mark it down.
Short on time, so I guess keep your questions for the break to Edmundas.
One more thing. So just Pirates on Shore in Vilnius. Here, where are we? Since you mentioned. So next week on Friday, February the 6th, you can come to ISM Innovators Base. The tickets are for free. All of the startup events in Lithuania are for free, and meet and pitch these investors. We're not putting the list of investors here. Anyway, but someone is coming. For serious people, for actual startupers, the last grain of thought. If you would be starting a new startup right now and you actually have a product and some customers using it, why not straight away incorporate in the United States and raise funding at the same time in the United States and Lithuania? And why would you open a company first there? To lock in IP in the United States. And then by this, you would have an option straight away to raise from the United States, to use crowdfunding from Kickstarter and AngelList. So this is an idea for advanced people, that something that I would be doing differently. I would from beginning have a US entity. Maybe this idea is more specific for my field because most of our paying clients are coming from the United States. And for some of you, it's not interesting. But then I would go straight to London. If you have to be in Europe, I would just go straight in London. And only afterwards, I would open a company in Lithuania and just to basically pay salaries. And why? Because in the United States, for crowdfunding, check out the AngelList 2014 and all the stats, what we're doing with crowdfunding for companies that are based in the United States. Sadly, this is not available for us yet. Okay, now I'm done.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Edmundas. Are you staying for the break? Just 10 more minutes, 15, yes. 20? Okay, then. So, thanks to Edmundas. Big applause and...